funny.
It'll make it easier for cutting. So welcome back, everybody, with Unmasked. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Unmasked podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Kaylee.
And today we have our special guest, Mason, here.
Like the jar.
Like the jar, so don't forget.
Yeah, like the jar. I always do it with the little hand motion, too, you know?
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, it could be like that or like that, but how else are you doing it?
I was thinking more like this.
Oh, wait! You're like, wait. I was like, okay, we're on like the, you know, what does a jar make, I guess, you know? It holds liquid, it has a top, it has a little, you know, it's twists, so.
That's Mason.
Yeah, that's me.
And we have him here today because the topic of our podcast today is going to be the mask that we wear. It doesn't just apply to neurodivergence. Now, Mason here is not diagnosed neurodivergent, and so we're talking about the mask that we all wear through society, through relationships, through friendships, you know, even our places of employment. And I think anybody can really relate to the idea of protecting who they truly are so they're not going to be ridiculed, criticized, or judged, or pushed away. You know, I think that's a lot of our fears is we put these masks up because we want to belong, we want the acceptance, we need that socialization, and we feel that if we are our true selves, that no one will accept us. But this in itself is its own bag of tricks, because then you're in relationships that are draining you, and you're putting on a show, and you don't feel fulfilled. You just feel run through, you feel empty, and you just feel like everyone's taking from you.
And it's also not fair for the other person as well, because here they are getting into a relationship, a friendship, thinking that you're somebody else.
Very true, misrepresentation.
So for both people, it can really end poorly.
It is. And when we were talking earlier, you know, in these relationships and stuff that you show up and you mask, you know, by not speaking up to things that you don't agree with, you're allowing that to happen, and you're saying, I co-sign on this and this is okay to happen. And so that creates more of that draining feeling in relationships. I know I personally can attest to that,
yes.
Especially with long-term friends.
Yes.
I feel like 15 years, you know, we've gone through so much, we've grown up, and it's like I started shutting my mouth when I didn't agree with what they were saying.
Oh my gosh, I can relate to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think it'd be the opposite because you've been friends with them longer.
Yes, but instead I almost felt like the outcast, that I was going to be like not pushed out, but the object of criticizing or ridicule or something because I didn't see eye to eye with them. Because those are the friends we are. We josh around, we give each other shit. Yeah. You know, call each other out, and that's what I love. But it's like when you start being vulnerable and your authentic self, the last thing you want to do is be called out.
Especially after so long. You know, after so
Exactly.
long,
Yeah.
you put in so much time and energy and effort into it that it's like. It's terrifying to think that just like a small change in your actions could detriment that and destroy that, you know, like it so
Very
quickly.
much.
You're like, damn, we put 15 years into this, and then like one thing could throw that all away. Like that could be terrifying.
Well, yeah, and it's crazy because we do change so much as
Yeah.
we grow, especially from early 20s to our 30s, like immensely. We change like every 5 years in what we want, what we think, like how we feel, like who we want around us.
Yeah.
And so it was always a hard subject for me, like when it comes to those long-term friendships, because it's like you put them on this pedestal because they've been there, and it's loyalty, you know what I mean? And you don't want to upset them. But at the same time, when is it your turn to be fully realized and fully heard and fully accepted? And you have to realize that maybe those people are not that for you.
Yeah, because I deal with this a lot because I'll start masking and then the people love me. I love their reaction of it. And so I get stuck the longer it goes where I'm like, oh shoot, like, am I allowed to unmask? Is it safe?
Yeah.
Will they still like me? And so then you kind of just keep it going, and then pretty soon you're 15 years in, and it's really then awkward to...
Because then you unmask and they're like, what's wrong
like,
with
who
you?
are you? Like,
There's a certain expectation almost of like what you come around. I do experience that. So it's something. I would consider it's very similar. So I always feel like, especially in groups, no matter I have long-term friends from high school. I have short-term friends that I've met a few years ago that I'm close with. But no matter what, I always feel the need to like entertain.
Yes, like be the clown.
Almost, yes. Like it's very like kind of dry air is awkward for me. Like especially in more intimate settings and even in larger ones, I always just kind of have like this instinct to insert myself and be funny and crack jokes, and I do love attention at the end of the day, so it is something that is like I do enjoy, but I would feel drained after the end, and also on certain days where I didn't feel like doing that, everyone's like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, what's wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm fine, I'm just minding my business. I gotta chill in. Yeah, I'm just kind of, observing everyone else. Everyone else can be funny today.
I was like the class clown all in school, and that is how it felt, because then when it's so draining to keep that up, but then when you don't keep it up, everyone's like, what's wrong? Like, why are you acting different? Why'd you change? Yeah. And so then you have to put on the mask again.
It shows that it really does affect like the dynamic between things just from a little character change, It
really does. And, like what masking looked like for me as well was like I said, being quiet. Like I wanted to be accepted, but I wasn't I didn't want to interject because I have a lot to say. My mind thinks a lot, so I always feel like I'm gonna say the wrong thing, or I'm gonna go too far, info dump, or go on a little hyper fixation.
Absolutely.
And then people just are like, or people will be like, your stories don't have a flow to them. You start here, then you talk about this, then you get lost, and then you don't have an end. And I was like, oh yeah, I see that. And so I just started being quiet. And I was like, well, I want to be around these people, and I don't know how to share myself because I don't know how to do it properly. So I just became quiet. And even in social settings, like going out to bars and stuff like that, I was just quiet and just nice. I was just like, hi. Yeah. I didn't really be myself.
Kind of just observe.
Yeah. Exactly. I was an observer. And I felt like I've been like that for the last 5 years. And I noticed I wasn't showing up as myself when I was hanging out with these friends, and they're talking about all these things that I don't even care about, like mortgages and the stock market and where we're going to invest this money. And I'm like, well, I don't have money to invest right now. I'm trying to figure out my life still. Yeah. And it's just like maybe it was an insecurity of mine as well, because I will say these friends since Unmasking have come and been like, oh, well, I'm glad you're finally sharing yourself. I'm glad you're not holding us on this pedestal. And I will say through those long-term friendships, you can still gain family status. Absolutely. To where you're like, well, all right, I know you're a little crazy.
But they just accept you.
We still accept you, And now as we get older, we're all unmasking and we're all a little crazy, And that's the thing too. I've noticed everyone else is dropping their guard. They're like, screw it. This is me.
That probably even adds a lot more just like compassion to the relationship, because you were probably so scared of revealing that, and then once you do and you come over that fear, then it's still there and there's still that strong connection. You're just like, oh wow, you really love me, you're really my friend.
It's so endearing and touching. Yeah.
I have a question for both of you. Sure. So it just came to my head. I feel like it's very similar to maybe coming out. Is it? When you drop the mask, is it the same as the first, or similar feeling as the first time you came out?
It's very similar.
Interesting. Okay.
It's very similar.
I could see that.
I agree. Yeah. I'm sorry. I definitely thought the same thing. I was actually surprised that you brought that up, because it kind of was something. It came across my mind when I brought it up, because that is very similar to what I was going through. They want to involve in.
He's like, I'm gay.
Yeah.
They want to talk about their unmasking.
But that is exactly what it was. I did a hard time doing it. I kind of, when I went through high school, I kind of had this idea of presenting myself a certain way. I did sports. I didn't really involve myself. I like to sing and do theater in middle school, and I didn't do that in high school because I just kind of wanted to, build. I moved here from Wisconsin, so it just was the perfect opportunity to be like, I'm gonna create a version of myself. So I built that version of myself, and then once you get out of high school and you're not really surrounded by all that, then you kind of are only alone with yourself. And then I kind of was going through the motions, but I really struggled with it, and I created all these scenarios in my head that would happen, and none of them actually happened. I actually had quite a pleasant time coming out. Really, once I started doing it, I was very fortunate. I didn't really get any the expected hostility that sometimes people think that they get, and everyone kind of just accepted it for what it was. It became kind of even an inside joke in some situations, and. It was something that I just kind of created in my head that was going to be an issue, and then nothing that I was worried about actually happened, and it really all worked out just from taking that step and just being courageous enough to to do it.
Good for you.
And I'll say it's very similar as well, because it's almost like learning to set your boundaries and that's you're announcing how you feel and how you want to be treated and how you present yourself, you know. And it's almost the same way. It's like you're accepting it and now you're putting it out into the universe and you're making it so.
Yeah.
You know. And I feel like we do the same thing when we do set boundaries, is we're showing like who we are and to the world. And we're standing up for ourselves, you know?
And there's bravery behind it, you know? Like you have to
courage.
be like people. I don't think people really consider like how courageous you have to be to do that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of courage and so much that some people never do it.
No,
Still,
ever,
even in this
you
day and
know?
age, still,
Ever.
because there's lots of people that don't want to be even talked about themselves. You know, they don't want to be on anybody's radar. They just want to go under it. So I've noticed that too, a lot of people. But I feel like at a certain point, it's just becomes so draining that. I mean, but to each their own reasons.
Absolutely.
You know, it's usually a security thing.
Yeah.
You know, safety or like being taken care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that thought in my head and I was like, wow, I feel like that would be a very similar, almost like the same exact type of feeling situation.
Yeah.
Especially if you go your whole life kind of hiding that part of you until you come
like
out.
I feel like that was a mask at one point, probably in high school, that I didn't know of, where I was just like, I was definitely like suppressing a lot, like my genuine like interests and stuff that I wanted to do, just because I was scared of repercussions from peers and stuff, and I just had like this image that I just wanted to create that wasn't authentic. I appreciate it in hindsight because I like myself now, and I feel like everything I went through applies to who I am today.
Yeah.
So I always am grateful for what I went through, but I am happy that I took that step to just be more authentic and be brave enough to kind of just live my truth. You know?
And so,
for you.
like for you, do you have the same thing, you think, when you had your late diagnosis and you were telling people?
Yes. So, yes, that was like a very interesting time. So I first got diagnosed, it's probably been about 2 years now. Like it was pretty recent. And I remember, so I had no idea, like really anything. I've heard of autism, but I really didn't know much about it. And so that just like was such a surprise for me. And then when I went home, I would start thinking about like everything I've heard people say in comment sections of other people, or just how they talk about people with autism or other disabilities when no one's listening. And for like my whole life,
We're listening.
he's crying for me. He's like
Go, Queen, go.
so wait, where were we?
We were talking about your late diagnosis.
Oh, yes.
And the
Okay,
comments
so
and everything.
I would just go through my head. Like, I was like, I know. As someone who was like parading around as an atypical person, or not atypical, neurotypical, not atypical, as a neurotypical person, I heard what people would say behind closed doors. Like, I know how people think and feel. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, like if I tell people, I know, like I've heard them say stuff. I know what they're going to think about me.
Exactly.
Even if they come at me with open arms and accept me, deep down, I'm always going to know.
And what are they saying behind my back? You know, you kind of just like, again, I feel like a lot of people create these scenarios and fears that probably even most of the time are not real, you know, and
Right,
not
because
true.
everyone I've told
you know?
It's all in your
has always
head.
been
It
so
could be,
kind. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I think the same way when you come out, it's like you hear people and how they've talked about gay people.
Yes.
So like, oh shit, I don't want you talking about them like that. Like why? I don't want you to look at me.
Those subtle things, you know, that even your loved ones say,
Right.
you know, that are kind of just like not necessarily the worst things, but it also just doesn't encourage you to want to, you know, be honest about it if you are struggling with that.
Exactly. And it led me into thinking like about. Oh, I just blacked out. Sorry. I'm paying attention to too many dogs.
This is why we're here, okay? This is why we're here, so we can go through the motions.
When did you guys first notice you dropped the mask? Unless you have something else to add.
No, that's a good one. So when I noticed I started dropping the mask was when I started learning what my values were, what my boundaries were, and through learning who I was and what my boundaries are, I learned about what my mask was and where I was holding it and where I wasn't. And that led me a lot to, like, I smoked marijuana for a lot of years just to try to calm that part of me down so that I could mask better.
Right.
You know, because I was already, like, too talkative, too much, and I had heard that I was too much, and like, so I always embodied that, and it's like, okay, well, you're too much, Chris, you got to calm yourself down. So I would just smoke weed all the time, so I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm chill. I have nothing to say. Yeah, cool, that's great. You know, you're just chill and accepting, but really that's ultimate people pleasing.
Yeah.
And who are you really pleasing? Because it's not yourself.
Exactly.
It's never yourself.
At first I was like, well, I want people to like me better.
Right,
So
yeah.
I
On the
control
surface,
myself.
yes.
And then I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, to be accepted by people that I don't really fully care that they accept me. Because I learned, like, learning to drop the mask is like, maybe even when I was like posting online for different reasons, like for validation, you know what I mean? And I was like, wait, why am I doing this? I get the same people, same responses, and it doesn't bring me any happiness. And it's like, why do I keep posting these pictures just for nothing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just for that external validation.
You know, and just
stuff.
for the like.
And that's what really helped me see myself too, is like, oh, I'm pandering to people to like me.
Do you feel like that's where it kind of, like the main point where it was affecting you came from? I don't know if that makes sense. Like where you kind of would like sit with yourself and be kind of thinking about like maybe opportunities that you missed out on, or like friendship relationships that didn't work out because of the mask. Do you feel like
Yes, I think I was
was
holding
bothering
myself in place.
Okay.
Not sure where I wanted to go or how to do it, because I feel I had messed up in my previous path and it didn't go as planned. And so I was very unsure about how this was going to go, but just the feeling I was giving myself of confidence and the courage, you know, that I built up. And it was just like, well, why am I holding myself back?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Because, you know, most people I don't even want to be around, you know. Except, you know, I like to help people, but a lot of people do drain you.
Yes.
A lot of people drain you. A lot of people just want to
Even
talk.
people you like sometimes.
I know. A lot of people do. They just want to dump. They want to info dump. And it's like, I get it, but like that's what therapists are for too.
Yeah.
And I was that person too that used to just used to trauma dump on my friends. And I learned that like no one wants to hear that. You know, they can only hear it so much, and then it's like,
Yeah.
Unless you're truly in distress, please tell
Of course.
Yeah.
But if it's just emotional thing in your head,
Right, where
you're
it's always
making
something.
it all up.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, I usually try to be very mysterious, but there are in situations where, like I said previously, where I always felt the need to just like entertain, you know.
Yes.
So if there was moments, very rarely, but enough times, I would go into like those trauma dumping moments, just because I felt like I wanted to like relate, or just kind of like just fill the air with something, and I definitely would feel like afterwards I would be like, dang, I spilled way too much.
I feel
you know,
that.
I spilled way too much, and it kind of was like unwarranted, and it's like, did I even really know them that well? And
Right, like then you start thinking, like, what are they gonna say to people? What are they thinking
what do
about
they think of
me?
me
What do they
now?
remember?
Yeah. So it's definitely something where I felt like I was just kind of like inserting myself and doing far too much than I needed to, and then I would always like. It's always after the hangout, and then you're like at home, and you're trying to just go to bed, but then you just think, literally in slow motion. It just like keeps replaying like all those moments, and then I'm even sitting there being like, oh my god, they're probably thinking that guy's a creep, that guy's weird, he was doing too much, and they might not even be thinking that at all. But
Exactly.
I'm beating myself up over this, you know, so it was negatively affecting me, and that was kind of the biggest thing I would relate to. Is I always would have those moments after like a hangout with people, even if I wasn't doing too much or oversharing. I always would sit back after and be like, I would just replay like all those awkward moments, the bad joke that didn't land, you know.
Yes.
So always the bad joke that doesn't get like the immediate
right laughter.
Yeah. Yes, and so I would always. That's kind of where I noticed where I felt like I was negatively. I wasn't self-serving pretty
Yes.
much. Where I would I would have fun, and I like entertaining, and I like being out, and I like making people laugh. But then I would sit back and I would just spend way too much time just overplaying it and being like, why did I do that? Here's what I should do next.
well, maybe
time.
that's a side hustle you could get into. I really want to start improv classes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so fun to be like, I don't know, I would just binge watch Portlandia. And I'm like, it looks so fun to just be an improv actor.
Yeah.
And just go with the flow. And just
So I hear it's a really hard industry.
Yeah.
It's very cutthroat.
I'm sure. But I
And you
want
didn't even see it coming. It was improv.
But it's like, I want to learn the skills to be better at just life and just like being able to carry myself and just go off and like how you present yourself.
I feel like that specifically would also kind of help you unmask. I'm thinking like for me, because I'm so funny behind closed doors, but then if I'm in front of an audience, I'm like the chicken cross. I don't know anything. Like I don't even know my name. Whereas if I like practice telling jokes on stage, I feel like the byproduct of that would be being able to be my real self without caring if people are laughing, whether people like it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about improv is you have to drop all your guards and always say yes to carry the story.
Yes,
and that's kind of like, yes, and then that's what's really cool about it is like, all right, you can't say no. You can't negate what this person's bringing to you. Instead, you're spinning it. And I think it'll just be better for life interactions with people, you know what I mean? To make you better on the cuff and like how you present yourself. I just think it's cool. Plus, I want to do more skits online.
I feel like you can read people to filth that way too, easier.
I was just gonna say.
Celia Banks 2.0.
I was just gonna say it kind of like almost gives you like a weapon in the arsenal.
Right?
You know, like maybe
I took improv.
I'm very slick at the mouth. Okay, the tongue is sharp. Be careful.
So that brings us to our next point. Is like, what is showing up as yourself? What did it cost you? What did it give you?
Cost me all my friends.
I would say so. That was one of the questions that I was definitely going to want to listen more in on. But I have something to say. I guess it's very new, but I guess I still don't really find myself doing the unmasking. I still kind of am in a place. I don't know if I definitely hate kind of the after effects, but in the moment, I really do like it. Which is pretty horrible, but I do.
No, I feel you. You know, I totally get it.
I really like just being like, I love how I am in social settings.
But you like making people smile and entertaining them. That is a strength.
Yeah,
it is a strength.
And I do enjoy that, and I don't necessarily want to like bring all that down. But I have noticed that I have been. I always like kind of referencing back. I would always sit back and think everyone hates me. You know, I would always have like those moments, and I've been letting that go slowly and surely. I was always that annoying person that was like, sorry. Like after I was like, sorry if I was just doing too much. And
like, what are you talking about?
You're fine, girl. So I kind of have been breaking that down and just being like, regardless, even if they do feel some type of way and they're not just letting me know in the moment, I'm just gonna let it go and stop just creating this narrative that is most likely not true. And if they got an issue, they can bring it to me. Other than that, I've just kind of been chilling, and I've noticed that really people don't hate me. You know, people don't hate me. I'm still getting asked out. You know, I still have like my core groups of friends and my good friend groups, and so doing that and not being like that unnecessarily apologetic person. It hasn't negatively affected anything, and if anything, I sleep a little better at night now. Just being like, oh well, pop a melatonin and go to bed. Yeah. See you in the morning.
Honestly, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, what it cost me was my insecurity. What it brought me was confidence.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm still in the phase where I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
It is so hard for me, but I feel like once I'm able to like break through with someone, then it's super easy and it's like just nature to do it. But I still have a really hard time with new people, but I don't have a hard time if it's someone I have never met and will never see again.
Isn't that crazy?
If it's someone that I don't care, oh my gosh, I can 100,000,000% be myself. But then if I'm like, oh, I like this person, like even as a friend, it's so hard.
Horrible.
It is so hard.
Yeah, it really is. That brings me back to coming out. I came out to a complete stranger that I just met instead of my best friend. She was friends with my best friend, and I just met her at a tailgate, and I was like, I'm gay.
That's hilarious.
Because like, what are you going to do about it?
But I don't know how I'm going to tell my friend about it. So I figure I'm just going to tell you all my trauma. And stuff. And she was so amazing and made me feel so good that it made
Usually
me
they are the most supportive people you've never even met.
I know, and that's what's led me to as well as like what it's brought me is like honestly, I see the red flags and I know who I can connect with more by knowing myself and knowing how I am and how it's like the same red flags you look for in a relationship you look for in a friendship. You should because honestly that friendship can be very draining just like a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the hardest truths to admit to myself was that I want attention, but I don't want attention. And really, it's just, I want to be recognized for what I produce. I don't want to be watched all the time and being paid attention to all the time.
I like how you worded that.
Yeah, I'm looking for recognition, not attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, that's validation. But at the same time, it's like if you grow something, you're doing something like, I want people to validate me on how I show up, not how I look. Like that used to bother me so much. I was like, you guys only look at me skin deep. Like I have all this inside of me. And that's what really like brought to the surface were my values is that like people, you go for the values, not for what they look like or on when you first meet them, you know. Sorry, I get in my own little tangent, but.
So I'm going through this kind of unmasking process I just thought of through social media, I guess. And I kind of like ranted about this the other day on my story, but so I started my Instagram probably like 10, 12 years ago, back when it was easier to grow. And I just started doing what influencers would do. And it was so easy to grow that way. I would just post like cute pictures, whatever.
Starbucks.
And I would get this mass amount of male following, attention, likes. And now ever since I got diagnosed, I feel like I really started trying to unmask. And part of that was just like portraying my real self on social media. And that has been very challenging because I think the first time I ever like started posting my political opinion, like my real political opinions, my real just thoughts, just posting my real self, I lost about 50,000 followers.
Whoa.
I had like 130 something thousand followers and now I have like 80 something thousand.
Oh wow.
And so I was like, oh. And so I kind of went back into like my little hole and I was like, I gotta post sexy pictures.
They hate me.
But it was just so draining. It was not fulfilling. I would look on my notifications and I'd be like, ugh.
You know,
like, ew, like I would literally be like grossed out when I would see like guys comment. And so I started making like reels about my real life and just like stuff that really showed me. And now I don't give a fuck who unfollows me because I've started trickling in people that genuinely like me, that can relate to me genuinely. And it's just, it's a weird process that I'm going through, but I can see the light at the end of the
You're
tunnel.
like kind of like shedding your skin almost, you know? It's like you kind of got rid of like that exterior that, you know, was safe and comfortable. And, you know, everyone, you know, everyone loves followers. We know how social media gets and just how like addicting like those followers and likes can be. And like that alone is just like people's dopamine, you know? That could be like that could be like their drug of choice, you know?
It's an addiction.
Is their Instagram like, so to lose especially like a mass following like that, like that would be a lot.
For not like being canceled, but just like sharing that I'm a good person. Like I think I said something about
being
Trump.
more than just a sexy image.
Yes.
Right. People are like, oh no, she has thoughts.
How dare she?
You can't have those.
Oh, there's a brain in there.
And I think I had just like I love photography and I love like feeling confident.
Yeah.
And I'm very comfortable in myself. So I was really good at like taking those sexy pictures and photo shoots. And it was fun. Like I can't say that I hated it. Like I do like it, but I didn't like the attention from it. It was almost like I liked it for myself.
We're multifaceted, you know. Like you can like being sexy and like just like, you know, like posting thirst content. But believe me, I enjoy it myself, and that could be like a part of you. But it's also like I'm also like involved in certain things. There's certain like ideas and that I have that you know. Yes, exactly. Like you are not just an image. You are not an AI bot. Like you are a human being, and a lot of people sometimes just don't, especially on social media. I think they just kind of see you very like through like, you know, tunnel vision.
Oh yeah.
And then when that opens up, you know, then they're just like, well.
And you know why I think that is because I think when people see everyone through that tunnel vision, they get their idea of who that person is. And if you challenge that idea, they're like, you're lying or you're fake or like they can't accept
you misled me. I don't even know you, but okay.
And I think how I got into the sexy stuff, besides the fact I love being creative and whatnot, is the autism. Because one of my hyperfixations is like human behavior. I love studying human behavior. And I would just see, okay, this is what guys like, this is what girls do. And I would just piece it all together and kind of come up with the perfect formula.
Your little algorithm.
The perfect mask.
Yeah.
Yes, literally my perfect mask. And I wore it for a decade. Yeah. And then when people saw like a different side, they're like, who is this?
Yeah,
like,
And it's scary probably at first, but it's necessary because like, look at you now. I feel like I'm sure you're so much more happier and, you know, secure and content with what you're putting out there now, even with the less followers. Because really, at the end of the day, like the followers is just like, they're nice, but if that is not like your goal, sometimes it is. But if that is not like your goal for where you want to be and where you want to go, then so be it, you know, then.
Because why do I need to cater to all these men that I don't care about?
You know?
I'm pretty sure I'm lesbian. So let me switch over to the girls.
Anyway.
Let me switch over to making things out for the girls. So let me know what you ladies want to see. But, so yeah. I feel like I took you guys through a whole journey.
That was great, because honestly what I was going to say is very true. Like, the whole unmasking on social media is like, now I had like 4 different profiles, you know. I had one for coaching, I had one for like spiritual,
like one for each mask.
Mindset. Yes. I had a pet one. I had my main one that was mostly just sexy personal stuff that I do, you know. Here's me looking cute.
Yes.
You know, and then the podcast one. And now I'm trying to just keep mine and the podcast one and say, you know, like, this is me.
Yes.
All encompassing memes, videos, podcasts, and sexy pics and all.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
But I will say, I have taken a step back in trying to figure out who this person is, all encompassed. You know, instead of wearing different masks in different circles. And it's been a challenge in itself to learn who that person is and how they portray themselves. You know, I want to come across educated to help others, but at the same time, a little thought pick here, or because I see other people and coaches that and social media influencers that marry it all together. And that's why they're giving you they're giving you what they're doing, but at the same time, they're giving you what you want. That's what you came there for too.
And you're gonna farm just a more genuine like audience, you know, like an actual
that
audience that like you and support you.
As soon as I started doing it, I dropped like 300 followers. And I'm like, where did it all go?
Isn't that crazy?
You
that
know?
people are just like,
But I was gaining slowly some more, but it's like those are more aligned ones. You know, it's not just the random guy that followed me to look at my body.
Yes.
And which is totally fine with me.
Sometimes, you know, but it's just like I also like want to have the people that are interested in what I have to say at the same time.
Exactly.
You know?
I feel like I have something to say and you should listen.
I have something to say all the time.
All the time.
I love a rant.
I know. I was telling her this, like, I've been like trying to regulate myself without like cannabis nowadays because I was so much, so I'm just so much more on. And I feel like I jump down people's throats, warranted, because you know you've crossed the boundary with me and I've alerted it, so now I have to tell you. Or you know, sometimes unwarranted, I'll be like, I can't believe you did this, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, it's learning a new balance. Though you know, it's like I want to be outspoken, but I don't want to be too much. But at the same time, being too much is good if you know the right things to say.
It's really challenging.
It is a balance.
It's really challenging to find like that balance, and luckily, you know, like life, we're forever learning, we're forever growing. So no matter really where you are in life, like you still can feel like you can put in that work and that time to become that more fully realized version of yourself and what you want to present.
And that leads us to our next segment of like how to unmask and some tips and tricks to do so. So I personally learned to unmask by choosing my values, what means important to me. Like If you don't know, make a list of what is important to you, like honesty, loyalty. You want somebody that is politically outspoken. You want somebody that is outspoken, not outspoken. You know, it's kind of like, or not somebody, but you want to be yourself. Like, how do you want to show up? And sometimes making that list allows you to see it and then to create the boundaries from that. And then when you start setting your boundaries, you start creating who you are because you're protecting your authentic self and you're allowing it to come out and shine. You know, and so I feel like that is a good way, is making a list of your core values and then trying to figure out your boundaries. What do you guys use to unmask?
This is a hard one. Oh, because I told you before the podcast, I still struggle with this.
I mean, I still do too. And these are, I mean, I can give some other ones while you guys think.
Okay.
So some other ways to unmask is also like not being silent, speaking up when you hear something that you don't agree with.
I've been better at doing that. Mm-hmm. So I have been really working on not being so much of a people pleaser.
Exactly.
And because that is just so draining. Yes. It just makes me resentful on the inside, and then I explode, and then everyone's like, "Wah!" And so, yes, I've been working on, if I feel something, I say something. Like, so there's no miscommunication, there's no resentment, there's no weirdness, because I hate weirdness. Mm-hmm. And so, just speaking up. And it's a lot harder than you would think. It's a lot, especially as an adult. Like, I feel like as a child, I looked at adults and I was like, oh, I can't wait to be as brave and confident as them.
Please.
And now I'm an adult and I'm like,
no one is. No one's an adult. No one's an adult. They're just old kids.
Please, we're all just big ass kids, huh?
Especially as millennials, right?
Yes.
That's why we look so great.
You know, thank you, son.
But, yeah. Sorry. I don't know why I'm so spacey.
I'm just agreeing, like,
just like the unmasking.
Yeah, how to unmask. Do you have any tips?
Oh no. So I am still in that process. Mm-hmm. Definitely when you guys bring up the people pleasing, I would say that's kind of one thing that I have noticed about me that is very physically and emotionally draining, because I will like very much go out of my way to help, you know, and I hate I just hate kind of just like letting people down or rejecting people.
So maybe a good tip is that you seem to be struggling with. Sorry to interject.
That's okay.
But it's like, I used to say, you know, not my monkey, not my circus. Right. You know, it's like, this isn't my problem. Yeah. I don't need to drain myself more. Yeah. Unless this person has come to me and asked me for their help.
It's of course. It's very situational. Like if someone's coming up to me, they're like, my child is stranded on the side of the road. I need help. I'm like, yes, girl, I got you.
Right, not my monkey, not my circus.
Imagine. No, I get it. But it is like just those kind of just smaller things, especially like the emotional pleasing, where it's like you always feel like you have to like keep them secure and make sure that they're like involved. And that was kind of another thing with like always feeling the need to like entertain. It's just like you're like always kind of like trying to talk to other people, and sometimes that's not like what they want like in that moment, you know, and you might be that reason that they're like uncomfortable in that situation. So I am in that process. I am trying my best, and I'm also just trying to get it to a point where like I'm also like not being mean at the end of the day, but it's kind of like a fine line of like I'm putting myself first, Lucius, but I'm also like I'm still here for you. Mm-hmm. If you need it.
You gotta respect yourself more than other people.
I was gonna say, I still love you, but I love me.
Exactly.
Always.
Yes, exactly. And I don't think that's wrong. It's just, it feels wrong when you haven't set those boundaries with those people yet. Because like we said, meeting new people, you can reinvent yourself with every new person you meet, you know, and you can be more authentically you. Yeah. And it's harder with those older friends and that you have in families that you've had a set ways with. But at the same time, I think everyone can respect if you respectfully show up for yourself.
And if they don't, then
exactly. You needed to see that.
That's their trouble.
Yes, then you needed to see that, and yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something where it's a journey, and I always like I have been taken advantage of in the past just because of like feeling the need to always have to like accommodate, and like if they ask me to do something, then I basically got to do it, you know, and say because the idea of being like, I'm not comfortable comfortable doing that. I'm not like, you know, like that always was kind of, even to this day, is still a fear because like you never know like what kind of reaction you'll get. And then like I'm also like one of those people where I will internalize things, and even though in the moment I'm like, I'm 100% right, like you're tripping, and then I get a certain reaction, I'll think about it all night and I'll be like, was I tripping? Was I the tripper? And that's just something that I'm still kind of going through, and I think I'm getting a little better. I'm getting older, so I'm becoming a little more stern old man. And we'll see where the journey takes us.
I think that's a great way to say it, though. Is like you're just constantly, especially with ADHD or ADHD, is that we are constantly trying to. Why do I keep losing my train of thought? I'm sorry, guys.
We're constantly trying to.
The enemies at B do not want this said.
I know. Today, I'm just like blanking, spacey. I'm overthinking things. I'm thinking about like 10 different things while we're doing this, and it's like, calm down.
Yeah,
be present.
We're here.
Being present is also a very good one.
That's a huge tip. Calming, like slowing down and just being present. There's nothing wrong with taking an extra second. Whereas I'm so guilty of just and oh my gosh, and then I regret what I said. I'm embarrassed. It doesn't make sense. And so if I just like take a second,
exactly.
it'll come. And then
I kind of had to do that today, honestly. At first,
sometimes you need to be like,
I was a little overwhelmed. I get nervous, but then kind of I feel good now. I had like there was one moment where I just kind of like unconsciously was just like just took like that big deep breath, and it kind of just like okay, we're okay, we're okay.
We are okay.
The world is the sky's not falling yet.
So that's what I was going to lead into. So ideally, what would a healthy relationship look like for you? Not necessarily a friendship.
Yes. I think I have a lot. I have a lot of help. I'm really fortunate. I'm really blessed. Honestly, I have a lot of really good friends that I know. I have learned over the years now that I'm like, they genuinely just like me. They love me, you know, like regardless. Like I always would have those moments, and I would go through like that stage of like apologizing the day after over just being myself. And so I have gotten to a place now where I'm just like, I know at least with where I'm at right now, like I have so many friends that genuinely do love and care about me. So it really does help with with whatever I need to do to accommodate myself, you know, because I am very confident now that if I am, you know, if I take a step back on the people pleasing and the entertaining and all this, that I know at the end of the day, like these people are still there for me, and you know, and I'll be good, you know. So I'm in like that stage right now where I'm just like, I'm confident where I stand with my friends, and now I can just kind of like work internally with
I love that.
How I want
you don't
to
have to stress about people accepting you because you've already been accepted.
I'm confident in that side, which is sometimes the hardest part, you know, because I was always so worried about it, because I always am worried of just like having no friends, you know, and I'm just like, oh.
Except now we get older, it's like, I don't want friends.
You know, every year you like lose one, you know.
People want to hang out all the time. I'm tired.
My birthday dinners get smaller every year.
And I feel bad too. It's like, I want to be friendly and have friends, but the older you get, it's just life takes it out of you, and you don't have the energy.
My back hurts.
Exactly. I was like,
ran out of Advil today.
Right? It's like, I need to decompress alone.
Right. Yeah.
And but okay, that leads into advice to someone that would be afraid to show themselves. Like my advice to you is, you know, with old relationships, you know, start saying, I don't do this. Instead, I blow up. when people say things that you don't align with you, say, hey, you know, I don't really like this. I don't really want to talk about this anymore. And then hopefully they can see you and respect you and move on. Yeah. You know, a healthy relationship looks like a two-way street. You know, they come correct, you come correct. If you ask for something, they try to accommodate. Just like if they ask for something, you try to accommodate, and it's equal exchange. You know, it shouldn't be one-sided where you feel you always have to give in order to be accepted. And if you're afraid to show yourself, just start showing yourself little by little and watch people compliment you on it.
Ooh, imagine that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to fully come off. Just little pieces.
Little pieces at a time, baby steps, and just look at the resounding effects of you being yourself and showing up. I guarantee you, people will notice you being more authentic and being present than you were before.
Yeah, you never know what you'll attract from that.
I was gonna say, because if you think about it, no one boring ever made a name for themselves. It's always been people that are controversial, people that are weird, people that stand out. It's never just a normal, everyday.
Because those people are satisfied.
They're
living in society. Right. They're just
all the celebrities.
I don't want to say sheeple, but the general population.
Isn't that funny though? That like you're totally right, and like historically, like that is accurate. But we still, as a society, do not encourage it, and we don't we don't champion it, and we actually, if anything, we kind of try to put it in a box.
So
but then once they become famous, then everyone's like, oh, they're so cool.
I've always loved them. I've always loved them.
I know, that's what I was noticing. We were talking about that earlier, where a lot of people will be quiet until you start succeeding before they start rooting.
That is
for
true,
it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting now that we're starting to grow a little more. I'm getting more people be like, "Oh my God, maybe it's getting pushed out further." But I'm getting a lot more responses as we look more professional, as we sound better. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like, okay. I mean, maybe it's just like a part of the process. You got to eat dirt for a while, and then and then you're just like, all right, now we're eating mud. So
I think with anything,
we're getting up there.
Exactly. You have the people that are taking up space drop off to have the people that do meet you on your plane. They come in, and that like you're losing followers and gaining followers. That's exactly the thing. You're losing the people that no longer align with you. Goodbye. Now there's more room for people that do. Mm-hmm. But actually, you kept like 3/4 of your followers. It sounds so. That's pretty good.
That's like a C.
And I did.
C average. C's degrees.
Kaylee Day. If you would like to be one of them.
Yes.
Do you have advice to people?
Well, kind of just going off what I just said, where like don't be afraid if you think people are gonna think you're weird or if they're gonna make fun of you, because even if they do, honestly think about it. Look at Machine Gun Kelly, look at Mr. Beast, look at all like the big name people that people like praise. They all would have gotten made fun of like at a normal school, but now people praise them for being different. They praise them for being authentic, as they should. But I wish people would do it.
They're their idols. They're their idols, like really, like these are the people that people even idolize, and those same people that idolize those celebrities will look at you like you're, like something else.
I think because they can't unmask themselves.
But I think a lot of people are contracted. They're contracted to be a certain entity, and they can't. I think, because they're getting paid billions. But I think with the influencer society, it's like you can't make it unless you are your authentic, unmasked self. That's what we're learning.
Stand out.
Like you can't be just a generic person saying generic things. You have to be polarizing. You have to be unique. You have to be entertaining. You have to be all these things. And honestly, it's just teaching us to be our natural, in touch with our inner child. Just be who you are, and that's what they want to see. Because I've started making those posts, and those posts that are more like vulnerable posting posts, they fly a lot more. Like double, triple. It's crazy.
Isn't that interesting? That's very interesting. It's like we really do, as a society, we idolize and look up to these people so much that are their authentic selves and probably unmasking, but in like our interpersonal lives, we're so uncomfortable with it, and it's really
like very triggering for some people.
So hopefully this is a positive from social media, is that we're teaching people to be more uniquely them if they want to get ahead in life.
Yeah.
Hopefully
or be famous.
Try to get famous, girl.
Or come on the podcast.
Gotta start somewhere. All right, one bold truth to live by. I would say, if you ever hide parts of yourself to be loved, it's not love, it's performing. Right? If you have to mask to be accepted, you're just a great actor. You're not actually being accepted for who you truly are. And that's the truth. Like, you showing up for yourself, you get authentic connections.
I think more people should get violent.
Violent or aggressive?
I'm tired of all these people that have never gotten beat up. I'm so tired of it. Ladies, we gotta fight.
You're a legend
the
for
gays,
that.
we gotta fight.
I agree with that. There's so many people that I feel bad for just being a mirror.
Not that played us on Fox News.
No, but I agree. Like, that's the whole point of what we're doing here too. Is like we want to create a bold mirror for people to see themselves in, because those narcissists and stuff in there, they're just living off their own delusion. And I'm just like, bro, no one's grounded you yet, and now I'm the enemy for giving you some reality.
With the shoulder.
I have been saying that for so long. I'm like, dang, some people really do.
You're like, that was actually my fault too.
Yeah. It wasn't, but now it is. That is so funny. Like, I have said that ironically, but also like realistically, I'm just like, dang, some people, some people definitely, like you said, people have just never been. The brain has never been beat up. They get that one good whooping.
Yeah,
that they
like we
needed.
said before, we're taught as kids to like be passive, be accepting of your neighbor, like don't interject, and then at the same time you let people do them, because you're doing you. But at the same time, if you care about somebody, give them a reality check that they need.
Yeah.
If you see them being delusional beyond like reasonable doubt, like there's a difference. Like, we're gonna be famous someday with our talk show here, but then there's some delusion that's like this. People eating cheeseburgers, like, I'm gonna lose my weight, and I was like, girl, you need to go to the gym and stop eating that cheeseburger. You're not gonna lose 30 pounds.
Get the single.
All you need to lose weight is a single gay in your ear. That's all you need.
You're like, I wouldn't eat that.
Are you sure about
That's
that?
all carbs.
I wouldn't wear that.
That's how I learned how to do my makeup, was by hanging out with the gays.
Oh my god, that's so
Honestly,
funny.
yeah, I'm sure. Your friends
Trevor.
always have
It
good
was
stuff.
Trevor. Trevor made a comment the first time I ever hung out with Trevor, his ex. He goes, "You're going out with contour unblended."
Ew!
Oh! Hold on, I'm going to the bathroom. Give me 30 minutes.
That's when girls started doing contour. I feel like.
Right, I'm like, here. I was like, I tried contour. Let me go wipe it off.
It looks really good on
But
camera.
you're like, I wonder if they learned it from like the drag queens.
Oh, I feel like
drag queens are on the
everything's learned from
elevated,
the drag queens.
right? Because
everything.
it's all illusion, and you have to be, and their makeup just improves every. I don't know if you watched RuPaul, but anyways, I love it. They're so talented, and they have to do so much. I have so much respect for these people.
Oh my gosh, the hair, makeup,
everything,
acting, everything.
And especially on like in the competition aspect too. On top of that, you're just like, how are they producing
the outfits,
this?
yeah.
right?
Yes.
You have to bring 30 outfits.
30 outfits.
Me barely be able to
shoes,
put one
wigs.
together.
Right, and they all have to be their own like couture stuff.
Yeah, yes, custom. Everything's custom.
I was just like, it is a battle, and it's probably just a battle of money now, but
That would be a lot.
because I'm sure there's lots of designers that are like, here.
Yeah. A lot of that going into the show. I've been.
So
seeing.
this brings us to the end. Unless you have something else you'd like to share that you wanted to get out.
Well, what my friend here said: stand on business. Stand on business. Let people know that who you are and what you stand for, and verbally first. Verbal first. Get good at just like talking and speaking your mind.
You don't have to immediately.
Not immediately, but keep the shoulder stretched. You never know. But yeah, stand on business and do what you need to do for yourself, and always be ready to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
However that looks.
Especially now, I feel like now more than ever. Not to bring up politics, or like any of the climate. Just
that's where we are.
The global climate, yeah. So.
You do?
Yeah. What's your Instagram, or where can they follow you?
You can follow me on anything. I'm TikTok, Instagram. I'm on there. It's all just Mason Sheckel, just my name. MASONSHACKLE.
Cool. Yeah. And then we do a question now with all our guests. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
I feel like growing up, I always wanted to be invisible. Which is kind of funny now that I'm saying it like in this aspect. Just I don't know. I just felt like there was just so many opportunities for stuff being invisible, but also it's kind of like maybe that's just how I wanted to feel like in certain moments.